Looking for a steering upgrade that can keep your Bronco on the road? Let's unbox the latest from Duff's, the new Dual Sport 2.0 Heim joint steering system. This product is designed specifically for 66 to 77 Ford Broncos with suspension lifts ranging from 0 to 6 inches. This new steering system is built with a center link mount in the tie rod to connect the drag link. This is the biggest change from Duff's current Dual Sport Heim steer setup that connects the drag link to the tie rod using a saddle. Which one is better? They're both great. Duff's recommends the new 2.0 Dual Sport steering system for any Bronco that has factory stock height suspension or up to 1.5 inches of suspension, or any Bronco with a lift height up to 6 inches that is maintaining the factory steering setup. If you're wanting to do any hard off-roading, or if you want to lift the steering up above the knuckle for better ground clearance, Duff's would recommend that you use the original Dual Sport steering system, which connects the drag link to the tie rod using a saddle. Now the moment you've been waiting for, let's see what's inside the box. Look at that. Instructions. From the top, we've got our new tie rod with the center link here, and then we've got our drag link, and then you've got these adjustment bars. Notice that one of them has a groove notched into it. That is going to be the one that goes to your drag link, and then the other one with no groove is going to go to the tie rod. You've also got two Heim joints with tapered studs pressed into them. One of them is going to go to your center link, which is the one without the sleeve. And then here's the one with the female threads with the sleeve. This is going to go to the drag link, which then attaches to the pitman arm. The sleeve is optional. It all depends on which pitman arm you have. So if you have a pitman arm that is from 67 to 75, it's going to use the sleeve. If you have a 66, 76, or 77 pitman arm, it's not going to use the sleeve. Another female Heim and a male Heim, and then you've got 6 jam nuts, 2 cotter pins, some Loctite, and installation instructions. That's going to allow you to take all of that to this. The new 2.0 Dual Sport Heim steer comes with the same hassle-free adjustment bars as the original Dual Sport Heim steer, so alignments are a breeze. It's also got the same 1.25 DOM tie rod and drag link with the 281 wall thickness. That's some serious beef. Durable and MIG welded at Duff's manufacturing facility. This features a new center link design that removes the saddle and works better for stock and 1.5 suspension lifts, but can also be used up to 6 inches of suspension used in the stock tie rod under configuration. You'll notice that 3/4 Heim joints are used on every end-to-end connections for strength and durability that lasts for years maintenance free. These aren't your average farm store joints. The adjustment bars are the big winner in this system, allowing full adjustability while installed. Your alignment tech will thank you for this. Some of you are probably noticing that there's no installation hardware included in this system. Duff's keeps the cost down by offering the exact install hardware you need. Sold separately, choices include no drill and drill options. First, you have your no drill options, which of course a lot of people will choose because who wants to drill out their knuckles, right? Well, this is a really great option because it not only offers it for early Bronco knuckles, but also for Ford F-150 and GM 1-ton knuckles. Now, this has also got a great feature where it allows you to mount them in the tie rod under stock configuration, or you can simply swap some of the hardware around and you can also mount it tie rod over. Now, the other option here is your drill option. So this here is if you already have drilled out knuckles, or let's say your knuckles are damaged, or you just want the most beef. You want to have the most absolute strongest steering system available. That's where you're going to use these 3/4 bolts. You're going to drill the knuckles out to 3/4, and you can mount them tie rod under or tie rod over, whichever way you please. Duff's designed the new Dual Sport 2.0 Heim steer system for the wildly popular 1.5 performance package, featured on Huck, a 1972 Ford Bronco, to provide the best steering geometry for 66 to 77 Broncos. This steering system also works great for 2.5 to 5.5 Duff suspension systems in the factory tie rod under configuration. This setup gives you a tighter steering feel, increased articulation, and it's fully rebuildable. I personally have tested this steering system on Huck from everything from daily driving to light to medium trails. What you'll notice, no more bump steer, and the hassle-free setup allows your alignment shop to get your Bronco back to driving straight down the road. This steering system is specifically designed for a tie rod under factory upgrade. This means you must be using 66 to 77 Ford Bronco parts for this to bolt in with no issues. If you have aftermarket parts, you'll need to contact Duff's tech department before ordering. There's about 8 common questions that get asked. Let's dive into them one by one. Which steering system should I choose? Well, that'd be between the 5641 with a saddle or the 5642 with a center link. Well, let me show you the difference right here. In my hands, you've got the one with the saddle, the 5641. And you can see here, the saddle versus the center link. I would choose a 5641 with a saddle if I'm gonna do any hard off-roading, if I'm gonna put my tie rod over the knuckle, and if I wanna use a bump steer eliminator system. I would choose a 5642 with a center link if I want to keep the Bronco more stock. That means if I'm going to have a lower lift, like under 2 inches, or also going to do light to medium trail riding. Which mounting kit is right for you? Well, if you've already got the stock knuckles and there's nothing wrong with them, you definitely would just choose the no drill option. And if you think you're going to down the road, maybe go with something different as far as how you're going to use the Bronco. It's also a great option because you can use tie rod under or tie rod over with that setup. Now, if you have Duff knuckles, you're going to want to choose the drill option because Duff knuckles already come drilled out to 3/4. Or if you have other knuckles that maybe are abused or you're just not sure what they are, you can also drill those out. The drill option is also great for if you're going to go do hard off-roading. What makes these Duff steering systems so beefy? Well, a couple things. First thing being is they use some very strong 3/4 Heim joints on all the ends. They also use 3/4 bolts in some areas as well. And the tubing itself is extra beefy. Let me show you right here. These 3 tubing diameters showcase what is more like factory. And then the competition, which is 250 wall, and then Duff's, which is 288 or 281 wall. It's really extra beefy, and also it's directly threaded, so everything is basically one piece instead of welded bungs. Can I go back to stock later? Well, yeah, if you want to, but honestly, I don't think you will. Now, you can though if you have to. Even if you drill your knuckles out, Duff's offers adapter bushings so you can actually go 100% back to stock if you really need to. Is the alignment tricky? No, not at all. In fact, it's easier than aligning a factory steering linkage. Duff's includes specs and tips in their instructions to make alignment a breeze. What if I want to off-road on medium to hard trails? Will the Duff's 2.0 Dual Sport Heim steering system work? No. Duff's recommends their original Dual Sport part number 5641 that uses a saddle to connect the drag link to the tie rod to mount the steering above the knuckle. Duff's also recommends a minimum of 2.5 suspension lift for medium to hard trails with 33-inch tires. But that's still not going to cut it for a lot of medium to hard trails. 3.5 suspension long travel and 35s with a tie rod over steering system can tackle some of the hardest trails you're willing to put your Classic Bronco on. What other accessories, add-ons should you consider? Well, one of the first ones I want to share with you is the Duff's steering stabilizer. This guy here, and it has a bracket kit depending on which steering system you go with. Now, keep in mind that a steering stabilizer is not typically needed with Duff's steering linkage setups. They typically mask bad things that you don't need happening on your Bronco, so make sure that your steering is set up properly before you add a steering stabilizer. And most times you only need them if you like to do some really spirited driving, or if you have a 35 or larger tire. It just helps with deflection and control at higher speeds. Moving on from there, you might want to consider a hassle-free adjustable track bar from Duff. These are heavy duty and they make alignment a breeze, so you definitely want to add one of those on as well. From there, you've got drop pitman arms or just factory style pitman arms, and you also have heavy duty or standard style drop track bar brackets. James Duff has their own knuckles and disc brake system, so if you don't have disc brakes on the front and you want the best disc brakes, definitely consider Duff, and then the steering system will just bolt directly to it. Last but not least is a hand reamer. These are really great to have in your toolbox anyways, because anytime that you've got a tapered hole that you need to mount something in, sometimes it's just got some stuff in there that needs to be taken out or it's just not fitting quite right. So get one of those. You can go to dufftuff.com for all of these parts, and of course check the description below. All right guys, that's a wrap. Hopefully we've covered all of the great options for you to consider the new 5642 dual sport Heim steering system with CenterLink. It's a great option if you keep your Bronco low to the ground, or if it sees more street than trail. It's a breeze to install and you're gonna love how it drives. We'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the details. We'll catch you next time.